Hello everyone. Welcome back to ARCHO again. I hope you are all doing well. Tonight's story comes from the USA, sent by Jonathan Miller. This is an extremely terrifying incident. If you'd like to share your own true horror experiences, you can send them to this email, archo.story@gmail.com. Let's get straight into the story. I'm Jonathan. And this is something I heard directly from my brother. My brother once lived in a small mountain town in West Virginia, a place called Claiborne Hollow. If you're not from the Appalachian region, you've probably never heard of it. But for the locals, that name carries a weight. Claiborne Hollow is not just a quiet valley in the mountains, it's a place whispered about in fear. Surrounded by thick woods and abandoned coal mines, the hollow has always been marked by a strange stillness. Even in the middle of the day, it feels cut off from the rest of the world. But when night falls, the silence grows heavy, unnatural. And that's when people say it begins. The Whistler. The story of the Whistler is one of the oldest legends in the hollow. They say that if you walk into the woods after dark, you may hear a faint whistle. At first, it will sound far away, almost harmless, like the wind through the trees. But if you keep listening, it will grow louder, closer, until it's right behind you. And if you make the mistake of stopping, or worse, turning around, you won't survive to tell anyone. My brother had always laughed off such tales. He was a practical man. He didn't believe in ghosts or curses. To him, the Whistler was just a local myth. But his roommate, David Harper, wasn't so sure. David was a hollow boy, born and raised there, and he knew what people said. "Don't joke about it," David would tell him. "I've heard it myself. Late at night, out near the old mine. That sound, it's not the wind. If you ever hear it, don't you dare stop. Don't you look back. Just run." My brother would laugh, shake his head. But the seriousness in David's voice always lingered with him. One December night, when the hollow was buried under snow and the power had gone out, David suggested they walk to town. The main road was frozen, blocked with ice, but there was a shortcut, a trail through the forest. My brother hesitated. He didn't like the idea of walking through those woods after dark. But David insisted, and eventually, my brother agreed. They set out with flashlights in hand. The air was freezing, so cold that every breath burned in their lungs. Their boots crunched in the snow, echoing in the heavy silence. No birds, no animals, no rustle of wind in the trees, only silence, thick and suffocating. And then, they heard it.
Phew, phew, phew.
A whistle, faint, drifting through the trees. Slow. Cold. Too deliberate to be the wind. My brother stopped in his tracks. His stomach turned to ice. "Did you hear that?" he whispered. David forced a laugh. "It's nothing. Just the wind." But even in the weak glow of his flashlight, my brother could see David's face had gone pale. They kept walking. The whistle followed. It grew closer. Louder.
Phew, phew, phew.
Then, through the shifting light of the flashlights, something moved. A shape. Tall, impossibly thin, its limbs twisted at unnatural angles. Its skin was shadow, its eyes two glowing orbs of pale, milky white. It stepped toward them slowly, and with each step, the whistle grew louder. My brother froze. Terror rooted him in place. But before he could run, David stopped. His expression went blank. His eyes unfocused, as if he were in some kind of trance. "Don't you hear it?" David murmured. "It's calling my name." "David, we have to go," my brother shouted, grabbing his arm. But David didn't move. He took a step toward the figure. Then another. And in the space of a heartbeat, he was gone. No scream. No struggle. Just gone. The only thing left was the whistle, shrill now, echoing through the hollow woods. My brother ran. He didn't look back. He didn't stop until he burst through the trees and into town, gasping, pale, shaking with terror. When he told the others what had happened, they didn't laugh. They didn't call him crazy. They looked at him with wide, knowing eyes. The next morning, a search party went into the forest. They found David's jacket, half buried in the snow. The fabric was torn with deep, claw-like marks. The bark of nearby trees was shredded, as though raked with long, sharp nails. And in the snow, they found a stain of something dark and frozen. But David himself was never found. The official report said he was likely taken by an animal, maybe a bear or a cougar. But the locals knew better. They said it was the whistler. From that night on, my brother was never the same. He would lie awake, staring at the window, convinced he could hear it again. Sometimes, he swore he saw two pale eyes staring in at him through the glass. Sometimes he said he heard David's voice in the whistle, calling him out into the night. One night, he woke to see a shadow standing just outside his door. The whistle seeped through the cracks of the wood, soft but inescapable. He sat frozen, staring at the door until morning. When daylight came, the shadow was gone. Not long after, my brother left Claiborne Hollow. He swore he would never set foot there again. But the hollow remembers. And so do the people. Some say the whistler is the ghost of a woman who lived there long ago. She was accused of witchcraft, dragged to the woods, and hanged from a tree. They say as the rope tightened around her neck, she whistled. A low, eerie tune that never stopped. With her last breath, she cursed the town. My voice will haunt these woods. And those who hear it will belong to me. Since then, people have disappeared. Miners, hunters, travelers. The official stories blame accidents, wild animals, the unforgiving wilderness. But the locals know the truth. They know the curse never lifted. And still, on certain nights, when the wind dies and the woods fall silent, people swear they hear it. A sound too deliberate, too human, too cold to be anything else. My brother told me once, if you're ever in the hollow, and you hear that sound, don't you dare stop. Don't you dare look back. Just run. Run until your lungs give out. Because if you see it, you won't live to tell the story. Claiborne Hollow remains. Quiet, desolate, cursed. And the whistler still walks there. Waiting. Calling.
Feel.
Jonathan Miller.